Email marketing experiments takes you behind the scenes of failed and successful email marketing campaigns. Simply put, what we've tried in the past that worked or didn't work. We go from idea to strategy and results with lessons in between. We keep it real and super practical. We even started asking our guests to spill their worst email marketing mistakes, and some may just shock you to the core. I'm Dr. Sapphire, the host of Email Marketing Experiments and the founder of Sapphire Learning Hub, an online email marketing school that helps you start, grow, and transition into email marketing so that you can get paid to offer it as a service. Let's dive into today's episode. Hi, Dr. Sapphire here. Welcome to our Q2 email marketing report, right? So we decided to start doing quarterly email marketing reports where we take you behind the scenes into our email marketing for the quarter. So you get to see what it is that we are doing. We're going to be sharing with you our list grow. We're going to talk about how many emails we sent, our average open and click rate. We'll share the big bad numbers like how many people unsubscribe. And of course, how many new subscribers we gained. We'll be spotlighting some emails that we think that you should notice. So we'll tell you some of the things that we tried behind the scenes. And of course, our biggest lessons amongst other things. Now, before I dive into Q2 covers April, May, and June. And I have a confession to make in this particular episode, something you will not expect an email marketing expert to do that happened in this quarter, right? So let's get right into it. So let me start with the numbers that matter and the numbers that I want to be sharing with you. In Q2, we had a total active of 1,804 subscribers. We gained 654 new subscribers, but we actually had over 754 people sign up across our different sign up forms. And I'm going to explain why. So we had a campaign that we ran in Q2. We had 754 plus people sign up, right? However, not everybody who signed up was a new subscriber. So even though we had 754 signups, we had 654 new subscribers. And then this number that I'm going to just go ahead and whisper because I was shocked when I saw it. We had 234 unsubscribes in the quarter. And I know that we say unsubscribes don't matter, but 234, 654, that's a lot. That's a lot, right? But we'll go right into it. Our average open rates for April, we had 33.6. May, we had 30.4, and in June, 27.9. So we noticed a decline, which made us to think what's going on here. And we also noticed that across our click rates as well, we noticed that we had a decline in our number of clicks. In terms of total emails sent across the month, in April, we sent 27,277 emails in total. In May, we did send 20,139. So there's a significant gap there. And in June, we had only 5,935 emails sent. Our unsubscribe rates in April was 0.2. In May, it was 0.7. And in June, it was 0.2. We didn't have any spam complaints across the months that I'm talking about. So let's go into what we tried and how we even got those 654 people, new subscribers, and 754 total signups for our email list. So in Q2, we tried out something, right? We had this challenge, the client acquisition challenge that we hosted in Q2. And we started the campaign really early. The challenge was to start from like the end of May. Okay. That was when they could start listening to it. So just for context, the client acquisition challenge was a challenge that had two parts. A free part where they could listen to the audios on a private podcast player for 14 days, and a paid part where they could get access to the replays and actually do a challenge where we are helping them with one client acquisition strategy implementation per day across 30 days. So that was the major thing we did in that period. And then when it comes to attracting those new subscribers, so when we wanted to do this client acquisition challenge, we actually wanted to be able to make a lot of impact. Our goal was to get 2,000 plus people into the free tier of the client acquisition challenge because we wanted to be impacting them. We had brought these 30 guests from across the continent, and we wanted them to be able to share their one client acquisition strategy that gives them massive results every single time. And so we got 30 people to come share their strategies, and we were like, we can't bring these 30 amazing people and not have a lot of people get impacted with this, because one of the biggest challenge that we see in our audience, right, for freelancers who want to start to grow or transition into email marketing, and freelancers generally, is even business owners getting clients. Everybody's like, how can I get more clients? How can I get foreign clients? How can I get my clients to say? So it's client acquisition, client acquisition, client acquisition. So that was why we held the client acquisition challenge, which is not necessarily in line with our email marketing focus, which is what we do at Sapphire Learning Hub. So Sapphire Learning Hub is online email marketing school. We are building professional email list managers in Africa and beyond. So you see that there was a shift in our target audience, because this client acquisition challenge was not just for email marketers. It was open to freelancers and business owners. So we had 754 total signups, of which at least 100 people were already on our existing list. And then we had 654 new people. So when we wanted to do this challenge, because we were looking at impact, one of the things we did was we had talked about doing collaborations and also some sponsored posts, right? Not with ads now, but paying like people who have influence and communities to share with their communities on like LinkedIn. So like a sponsored post kind of, right? Not as a sponsored ad. So we had 3 levels of promotions, our own personal promotions that we were doing across social media and all of that. We had the people, I think there were like 3 to 4 people that we paid to be able to drive signups, of which one of them drove the highest signups in almost 200 people to the challenge sign up form. Okay. Then we then had the guests. We invited the guests to share. All right. So it's like, oh, please invite your audience to this thing. Here are some media assets that we are giving and all of that. So we invited the guests to share, but we had 30 guests. Not every guest shared, and not every guest that shared had signups, because we were tracking it. So because we really wanted to be, granular with the data, each guest had an individual landing page. And in addition to that, we had set up a UTM silent field. So when somebody fills the form, right, automatically, because it's that form, the UTM code or the UTM source, right? Let me not use, I want to make it simple. So we set it up that if someone signs up from, let's say Dr. Sapphire is promoting and she has a special landing page. If someone signs up for my page, automatically on the back end, that person would be tagged source Dr. Sapphire, so that we were tracking with like 2-factor authentication. So for each landing page, we could see the number of people that had signed up and we could attribute it to that person. But in addition to that, we could also see, based on source, how many people had signed up from XYZ source and, ABC source, so that we had our numbers and our data very much correct, right? So we had our guests also share. Then even for the people who we actually paid to promote the program, we also had them with these specific landing pages and all, so that we were tracking, and we're tracking on a really, really high level, right? So that we will be able to say, oh, this percentage came from this person, this percentage came from this person, and all of that. So those were the 3 levels of promotion that we really did use for this challenge. Now, another thing that we tried to experiment that didn't work was an ad. So we tried to set up an ad, but when it wasn't gaining traction, we just turned it off, majorly because we haven't really done ads in the past, so we don't have enough of that expertise, right? And we started it and we just looked at it and it's like, let's hold on this thing to a more better time when we have a longer runway to experiment, and then we also know that this is our experimenting budget for the ads, right? So that when we are coming for programs like this, we are putting in, this is what we know we have tried. Let's go ahead and set this up. Okay. So that's really how we acquired our 654 new subscribers, 752 total subscribers who came on our list. And one thing we've seen for list growth that really works for us is the fact that when we do collaborations, it becomes easier. And some of these collaborations, sometimes they're paid, sometimes they are free, but there's something about people signing up because somebody invited them, especially when the people who are inviting them, right, have the audience that you're looking for. So there's an alignment between the message and your audience, right? So the message that you're putting out, so for us, it was get paid, right? Land your first or next client, right? That was what we were telling them. And the people who we had particularly selected and reached out to had that particular audience, right? So we knew that the people that were coming from them were people who were interested in getting paid. And I will go into some of the lessons that we learned from this. I think I'll just take it all together now, since we're just talking about, growing the list and all. If I was to do this again, right, I definitely will narrow it down to email marketers or people who want to start email marketing. If for any reason I have to go out of email marketing, and the reason is simple, right? Because looking at the data now and seeing that we had so many people sign up, and then we had so many people unsubscribe, it tells me one thing. They came in for the challenge, but they didn't. I mean, not everybody who came in for the challenge was the people that unsubscribed, but in the months that we had the challenge, we had the highest number of unsubscribes. Okay. So it tells me that they may have come in for the challenge and then they just left. So they were not exactly our ideal avatar, our ideal audience. They just saw this freebie thing, they wanted it, they got it, they left, right? Because remember, the freebie lasted for like 14 days. They came in, they took it, and they left. They didn't really get to know the brand. They didn't really understand what it is we do, and they didn't align with what it is we were doing. So if we're going to do this again, in terms of collaborators especially, one of the things that we really, really want to look into is the fact that we do need to have audience message mismatch on a very deep level so that the people who are coming in are not just freebie seekers, but people who are going to be retained and continue with the brand, right? So that's something that I'm definitely putting into consideration rather across all collaborations for list growth. But does working with people, right, to grow your list work? Definitely. I mean, you can see this, right? Different people sharing, and majority of people who shared, we didn't have to, well, let's say we didn't have to pay them because for context, right? We did give our guests an honorarium and then the sharing was optional. Then we did have the people who were sharing specifically because we paid them to share. They were not our guests. They were like influencer partners that we worked with on LinkedIn particularly, because we also realized that a lot of our audience are on LinkedIn. And so we want to be able to also leverage it, right? Now let's go down to the emails, okay? Because there was something that I really, really noticed in terms of the emails, and I'll spotlight one email that had 36 unsubscribes. And I was like, oh, that's risky. Not risky because we have 36 unsubscribed, but risky because the unsubscribe rate in that email was 2.4%, right? And you don't want to have an unsubscribe of 2% for your email marketing. Okay. So for that particular email, we had 2.4%. And usually unsubscribes should be between 0.1 and 0.5% per campaign. Okay, so you want your unsubscribes to be less than. So imagine one email now giving me 2.4%. That's why I say it's risky. And that's why I'm going to be spotlighting that email, because I'm really curious as to what triggered the massive unsubscribes, at the same time putting us in a compromising or a risky situation. Okay, which is why I'm spotlighting that particular email, because it did stand out to me. Why this? And so that email was sent sometime in May. The title was "You Need New Shoes." It went out to a total of 1,500 people. So there was something we did in this email. We actually did something called dynamic content preview. Dynamic content preview is where you put a box or a message, a part in your email, but let's say people in segment A see something different, people in segment B see something different, people in segment C see something different. And we had at least 2 segments. And so we put that part of it so that if you were in XYZ group, the message will be more tailored to you. And if you were in ABC group, it will also be more tailored to you. right? And we put it because of the people who were signing up for the challenge. So for one group, we told them to listen to today's episode. We just released another 3 for you, right? But first you have to sign up. So these were for people who hadn't signed up. Then for people who had signed up, it was like, we just released another 3 episodes. Here is the link, that kind of thing to go listen and all of that. Now, this was just added as a spotlight at the top of the email. So this email started by saying, you're wondering why it's raining again as you splash through the water trying to get to work quickly. Every rainfall is a reminder you need new shoes as the water slowly slips through the sole to your feet. I hate this. Your shoe tells you need new shoes. You know you need new shoes, but food on the table comes first. Light bills, transport, rent, before you can think of shoes. I mean, you've stared at the shoes you want to buy. You've seen the store you'll get it at, but every day it's a not yet. Because you need to survive first, the harsh realities of the economy doesn't make it easy. And that's why we're hosting the client acquisition challenge, not the free 14-day version that expires May 14th, but the paid 6 week challenge, which gives you access to. And then we went on to see what the 6 weeks access gives and told them to lock in their seats. And we had at least 16.7% click on the link of the people who click on the link to go ahead and check out the client acquisition challenge. There was also a timer in this email. Our email template at the time, at the bottom, it had this thing where it spotlighted our latest episodes from the podcast. And we saw another 16.6% again go listen to the episodes, particularly the episode that talks about email marketing predictions for 2026, what's changing and how to prepare with Dr. Sapphire, right? So that particular episode also got clicks in the email as well. So those were the other things that were clicked in the email. And then we then had the unsubscribes that I am talking about, of which I was like, interesting, 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 right? Because I mean, why so many? And you can say that the email is really just talking about the client acquisition challenge, but from an angle of people who are struggling to survive. And maybe that was a trigger, right? Because we had a 2.4, but we also had a good response in terms of engagement. We had some people, right? So we had some people who like clicked links multiple times, right? More than once. Then we had a number of people who opened the emails like even up to 3 times, 2 times, and like that. Okay, so which is like total opens per person. So some people open once, 3 times, 2 times. Some people will click more than once. And then we also had particularly for this email, don't worry, I'm going to give you all the stats. We had a 33.2% open rate, but then we then had a an unsubscribe rate of 2.4%, which was quite concerning, right? Like I said. And so this is why I decided to spotlight this email and look at it. And then in retrospect, what could have made people, go ahead and do this? So we had them click multiple links. The unsubscribe link had the highest, which is why you can see that majority of the people or a lot of people clicked. Actually, it's majority clicked the unsubscribe link in terms of unique clicks, right? So looking at unique clicks data now, majority of people clicked the unsubscribe link. Then we had them clicking the document that we shared in the email, then the 6 weeks challenge, then the episode from the podcast. So those were the clicks and the ones in the order that they occurred. Now, when we looked at unsubscribe reason, because we do collect like unsubscribe reasons, right? It says, I no longer want to receive these emails. That was the reason that we received from 100% of the people who filled it. They said, I no longer want to receive these emails. And these people were people who had been active in the last 90 days. So they had opened at least an email opened some emails in the last 90 days. So again, it was interesting to see this kind of data and this kind of results. And looking at it in retrospect, I feel part of the reason is these people were new. A number of them were new, right? So they were just getting into, at least they didn't really know us. And I'm thinking that number two, the email may have triggered people in terms of the reminder about the surviving and certain things. Or on the other hand, maybe the email could just have been the filter they needed to realize that, okay, I'm not in this situation. I don't need this thing. And so I'm going to opt out, right? So it could have been a tight filter where they read it and they realize that, okay, I'm not struggling. I'm not trying to survive. I'm not trying to move from a position of I can't afford this to I can now afford this, right? I am already in that place where I am good. And so they went ahead and just unsubscribed. So these are my theories as regards this. And of course, I love testing and experiment. Now I'm spotlighting another email. So in Q2, we started doing something we called the VIP circle, which was our way of, so when it comes to our email marketing strategy, we have a 4-part framework. We call it the ANCOR framework. So it talks about attract, nurture, convert, optimize, and then retain. So we always want to be able to retain people, keep them, so they keep coming back to the brand for one thing or the other. Another thing is that when you look at our brand core values, one of the things that we really stand for is what we say, reward good work, right? So when people do certain things, we reward their good work. And so, in view of these two R's, rewarding good work and, of course, retention, we created what we call the VIP circle, which was our most engaged subscribers. So, this is not in terms of people who are buying or who have bought, but in terms of engagement. And the reason why we did this is because we realized that the way our products are structured, right, and our product suite today, if you've bought our course and then you take our mentorship, okay, you have already taken our highest level program, and we do not have at that point in time another one to upsell you to. We also realized from past history that the people who are engaged in our list and follow us closely are the people most likely to convert whenever we open up for our mentorship program that currently holds once a year. So that's the email marketing mentorship, right? We are looking into creating like more products in terms of maybe like a community and things like that, right? And then the people who we have on our list are majorly the people who want to learn email marketing, and a small segment, the people who are interested in building their own lists. Now, if we say people who want to learn both, then it's a large segment. But the people who want to learn both, right, major in learning email marketing so that they can offer it as a service as opposed to building their own list. Even though they said they are interested in both, if they had to pick one, they will pick, I want to learn email marketing. So ultimately, those people who want to learn email marketing and improving email marketing are the vast majority. So we took all of this into consideration, and then the fact that we want to be able to reward these people for always, opening our emails. These people have opened at least 40% of the emails that we have sent to them all time. And so if somebody is opening your emails at that level, they are following, they are invested in the brand, which is why we chose this as our criteria in Q2 for what we call the VIP circle. And so they were the most engaged people. And so the VIP circle, the idea was with the VIP circle, we're going to send them information ahead. We're going to take them behind the scenes in the brand, and we're going to give them special perks or benefits so that they know that they are VIP. Now, each VIP circle email was distinct so that whoever is seeing it knows that they are receiving this email because they are part of the VIP circle, right? And so for the VIP circle emails, what we did was we'll put VIP and a red circle in the subject line, and then we'll go into the title. So whenever you saw that VIP and red circle, you knew that, okay, I'm receiving this because I am VIP. And we actually introduced this. Okay, so we introduced it initially in terms of the first email that we sent to them, and we said VIP circle. We talked about the events for the month. So we always give them like privileged access. So we started with VIP circle, that's the red circle, and said, congratulations, you're now a member of the VIP circle. The VIP circle is for the most engaged members of my list, the people who consistently open, read, reply, and click my emails almost every single time. Statistics show that you open 40+% of the emails. You open 40+% of the emails I send you. And then it now goes into, because you're VIP, you're going to get some special perks. So we introduced the VIP circle. We told them what it's about. We told them they get special perks. Then the VIP circle went on to deliver the email that it was supposed to deliver. And then we gave them a special perk at the bottom, of which 38.5% of people who opened the email clicked on that particular special perk as well, right? So that was one of the VIP circle emails that we sent. Now I'm going to be telling you about another one, and then I'll let you know if this is something that I will do again. So another VIP circle email we sent was like, oh, for your ears only. So it had the VIP circle again, for your ears only. And at the top, we spotlighted something else. So this time we didn't say because you're VIP, but we invited them to a program. Then we now went hot off the press, and then we went on to begin to tell them things that we are working on and ask them, oh, do you think we need a community? Then there was a quick one, right? And it says, here is why. So now this one happened at the bottom of the email. Here is why you're a member of the VIP circle, the circle for the most engaged members of my list, right? So at the bottom of it, we spotlighted two products. And that's just basically us testing to see what works and what doesn't work. Now, moving forward, I realized that with the VIP circle, with the software we're using, right, you could actually set it to give you people who have opened greater than 40% of the emails that they have received, but not every software can do that. And so if we wanted to do that long term and we had to change software, we wanted to replicate in another software, we needed to look at criterias that will make it easy for us to be able to pick out those people and what it is that they had done, so that we can reward them and know that we are really rewarding our people who have shown us that much loyalty. And then we are building more retention in terms of keeping them, and we are building people who can become advocates of the brand, because they may not buy, but we want these people to come into a place where whenever you ask them email marketing, they are going to mention us and they're going to refer you to us because they have experienced us and they know that we can help, right? And so that's the idea behind the VIP circle and what we are doing with it and why we said to do it. So in terms of if we'll keep it, if we'll kill it, or if we'll iterate, for the VIP circle, we're definitely keeping it and iterating it. So we are keeping it and we are optimizing it to improve and get results. For the collaboration thing that we tried out for the list growth, are we keeping it? It's definitely a keeper, but with a ton of iteration, from the audience message, mismatch, right, to the building of customer journeys that really ensure that within that first 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, they get to really know and understand the brand. And with a strong filter system from the landing page, so that if they are not the people we want, we are already filtering them off from the landing page, not just the emails alone, right? So that's it in terms of what we tried, and if we're definitely going to keep it or not, and all of that. I find it really interesting. Okay, I find it really interesting. And so in all of this, the one number we couldn't ignore was definitely that 2.4% unsubscribe rate. You always want to keep your email list data healthy. We totally loved having, 654 new subscribers, in all honesty. But in retrospect, looking at it, right, beyond getting new subscribers, do you just want to get new subscribers and keep running after new subscribers? Or do you want to get new subscribers that stay and are of a certain quality? You're definitely looking for quality over quantity. And that is a lesson that we want to live with each and every one of us. And it was definitely our biggest surprise in terms of that, 2.4%, right? So basically, this is our Q2 email marketing report. If we're going through our ANCOR, right, our ANCOR framework, we attracted 654 people. We nurtured 1,804 people by sending 53,351 emails in total, of which we had total opens of 24,262, total clicks of 7,387. This is really interesting. Unsubscribes of 234, And I'll say it was definitely an interesting quarter and one for the books, with a lot of interesting and memorable things that happened. Now, we didn't talk about revenue because it wasn't something that we are currently tracking based on tech, not because we don't want to track it. But the minute we are able to, then we will start tracking it. So what are some of the things that we are interested in testing out next quarter? For next quarter, we're looking into automations and customer journeys that would help nurture people within that first few days. We're also looking at revamping our lead magnet to something that would really, really attract our people. And we know that when they come in, they are already on a know, like, trust upward trajectory. So what that means is a lead magnet that is calling the core people that we serve, right? Not just generally, but the core people we serve. And the lead magnet already starts that know, like, trust engine, from the get-go, so that we are building on that with our emails, right? And that's definitely something that we want to test out and work on next quarter in our email marketing journey. Now, I know I talked about the client acquisition challenge and all of that. I mean, for anybody who might be asking or who might be interested, it is actually still available. You can get the replays to the 30 conversations and strategies, but the challenge is long gone. I will link it in the show notes for you. Till next time, this is our Q2 email marketing report. And if you really love this episode, I would love for you to do one thing for me. In the comment section on the podcast player you're listening to, so be it Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcast, Overcast, whatever, can you go ahead and drop us a comment so that we get to know what did you think about this episode, right? And if it wouldn't be too much for you, can you just go to the rating section and give us a 5-star review, or give us your review and leave us some feedback? It will help more people to be able to find our podcast, Email Marketing Experiments. It will help also your feedback. You dropping a comment will help us know the things you'd love to see in this kind of quarterly report so that we can improve the podcast for you. And you giving us podcast reviews in terms of like a 5-star rating would help other people find our podcast, other people who love email marketing, who want to go behind the scenes of failed and successful email marketing campaigns, find our podcast. Thank you so much. Until next time, ciao. All right, I'm sure you love this deep dive, so go ahead and leave us a 5-star review in the podcast app. Secondly, if you want to get paid to offer email marketing as a service, but you don't know where to start, you've started and you feel stuck, you don't have who to guide you, or you don't have where to ask questions because you are afraid of being judged, then come hang out with other email marketers in the email clinic and get access to our accountability circle, industry insiders, our A to Z email marketing course, and lots more. The link is sapphirelearninghub.com/email clinic. You can also find the link in the show notes. Ciao.